Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Keo, and today I wanted to talk about Serato Studio. So, Serato as a company has been busy for the last little while, and they've been really enhancing the software side of the company. I think they've conquered the club and the dance floor, whatever, and they've moved past that. And so they're trying to add value to the overall package of what it means to be in the Serato family. So they just introduced a new step sequencer called Serato Studio. So a little background about me. I've been producing for a long friggin' time. I started off in the EPS 16. I moved up to the ASR 10 and Sonic. I moved to Steinberg Cubase. And then finally I settled on Ableton and I've done a bunch of music. All of the music on my channel is music I produced. Anyways, moving on. So, having used a bunch of different software and hardware, I think I have a unique take on what I think goes into a good program musically and what I'm looking for. And so, there's a lot of stuff that I really like. And this is interesting because this program just came out. It's in beta still, and they're really far along in the creative process and what they want to get for the overall vision of the package. So first things first, you can use your own VSTs. So if you use Fruity Loops or Ableton or whatever, and there's a specific synth that you like, or drum machine, drum sound, whatever it is, you can import that into this program, which is really cool. Other thing I like is that it's very intuitive. Like the layout, it makes sense, and you know depending on whichever program you've come from, you can look at this and, within 10 minutes or so, you should be able to making your own beats. It's really simple and straightforward. So I really like that a lot. So one of the things I like is it's very easy to load samples and especially things from your own library. So if you have Serato installed on your computer or whatever, it automatically connects your library to it. And so, if you have samples or loops or whatever in your Serato library, you can automatically import that into the program and it works flawlessly. One of the things I really like about this is that it has a very small footprint on your computer. So it doesn't really take too much memory up and it doesn't seem like it's using a lot of CPU raw power. So eventually you may even get to the point where you can run this in the background and Serato at the same time with very minimal effort off of your computer. So I like that a lot. That's a huge plus for me. One of the other features I like is play and key. And basically what it is that it eliminates the keys that you shouldn't play because it'll be off key. And it only gives you the layout of please keys that you can play within a certain melody or whatever. For people who don't play music or don't know how to play musical instruments or don't have a music theory background, this is very helpful. And it's one of those things that drives me crazy with other DJs that mix songs together that just sound awful. So I think it's a huge plus, and I'm very happy that it's in there, especially for new producers. So one of the things that I liked about this is that the sound library is pretty robust for a beta. And so you have a lot of sounds for drums and different types of kits, and you have a lot of loops and stuff that you can help get you started for your first beat. So if you don't know a lot about music and what you need to put together to make a song, a lot of this stuff is very helpful and should get you started very quickly. Right off the bat, it's going great. There's a lot of things I love. Love the layout. I love the sounds. Uh, it's very intuitive. It makes sense where things are great. There's a couple things that I don't like, and I'm not knocking this uh just for what they're doing so far because this is a beta and it's a work in progress, and they are looking for feedback from people who are using the program right now. So I want to give my feedback to Serato. First things first, I hate subscriptions. I hate them. I can't stand them. They got to generate money somehow, and subscription service seems to be the future way going forward. I hate it, but I understand. Um, Everything about this program rests on how much this thing is going to cost. So if this thing is super expensive, I don't know how far this thing can go. Personally, based on what it is right now, $5 a month, maybe I would pay for it. But because I already have Ableton, I already have Cubase, paying for another thing that does stuff I can already do and I'm already familiar with. I don't have the learning curve or whatever. And I have the libraries already. So it's just like man. For for producers who make a lot of music already, this is not for you. This is strictly for people who are still in their basement or they want to start making music. And this is the to get your toe into the game. So other things I don't like. It's not a full-fledged DAW. So um mixing rudimentary, just basic as basic could be. Control over your effects. They're either on, off, wet, or dry. You don't really have too much control over it, especially your EQ. Your EQ is just basic: high, mids, lows, low pass, high pass. So you definitely need to put your own VSTs. And if you have VSTs, then you're going to end up using your own DAW as is already anyway. So it's kind of a catch 22 for professional people making beats on this. Don't get me wrong, it's really fun and very easy, and you can make songs much quicker on this than you probably could. Well, depending on what your workflow is and what you have set up already on your program. I can't say for certain for everybody. Everything's different. But like you, for certain people, you're gonna jump right into it. It's gonna go work. It's gonna work great. You're gonna love it. For me personally, I would rather make beats on Ableton or Cubase. But if I had this to work with in the background of Serato, I would use it and I could probably make something pretty good out of it. So like I said before, this DAW is basic. You can't record audio, you can't, do remixes with like dropping an acapella in unless it's convoluted and it's not straightforward and you need it to be straightforward. Basically, this layout for how you format your songs, you need to have another waveform for audio there. If you don't have it there, doing remixes is going to be much harder than it needs to be, and you have less control over the overall process. So I strongly recommend against doing remixes like that. I'm sure some enterprising people can make it work. I just, for me personally, because I use Ableton, wrapping my head around the way to do that when I know I can do it this way and it's much easier, it doesn't make sense for me. So uh, doing remixes like that is worthless. Although if you're gonna cut loops and drop your loops into Serato and do your remixes live, then this is perfect for that. So uh, it has its pluses and minuses. I don't know. For me, I would rather just do everything in Ableton and mix it properly and master it properly. Which leads me to my other thing. Uh, there's no compressors and stuff like that to mix and master this thing effectively. At the end of the day, once you export your song, you're still gonna have to put it into another program to mix it. A lot of people don't know this. Even if you get into producing, you know, everybody's making their songs together with the same sounds. If you make hip hop, whatever, you're using the same sounds. Use dance music, you're using the same sounds, whatever. The thing that makes it separate between the two of them is the mix. This program is for sketching ideas as it stands right now. I would love more control overall on the overall song as you could on the Ableton, where you can do your final mix and can drop your plugins on the output channel. Stuff like that you can't do on this. And basically every major DAW you can do that. It's not there yet. I think Serato is going to eventually get to this point where they're going to allow you to do stuff like that. But as it stands right now, you can't do that. And you don't want to do all of your mixes here. You want parallel buses, and it's a whole other world with what you could do and where you should put stuff. So one of the other things that I found, which was kind of annoying, but not really that big a deal, it's more of a pet peeve of mine, because a lot of these things are loops and stuff like that. You can't hear it before you load it into your sequence. You basically have to load in everything before you can hear it, and it's a time waster. And I feel like there should be some way to just hear the sound before you have to put it into your to the program. it's a better workflow, and you don't want to keep loading in stuff and like, oh, that's the wrong one, and keep like, especially if you have like hundreds of sounds and loops and stuff like that. It's terrible. You kind of want to hear it off before you put it into the thing. So that's just a personal pet peeve of mine. It's not that big a deal, but it's kind of something that should be there. And the key thing here is that, even though I have pet peeves about this stuff, my pet peeves come more from using professional um, software. And this is more sketching and introductory thing. This is your Serato DJ Lite versus your Serato DJ. This is just to get your feet wet and, get your taste buds going. Just trying to, those are two things that don't even go together. But, it's just to get you a feel for how you would go about making stuff. Overall, I think Serato is doing a lot of really, really good things, with pitch and time and their flip stuff. And just Serato is making a lot of good movements in production and trying to get more out of the performance. And I made a video a couple years ago about how I feel DJs are moving from strictly blending two songs together to start doing performances and remixes and that kind of stuff. And I honestly think that's gonna be the thing that separates you from everybody else, is that you have unique songs that other people don't have. You're doing a live performance with keyboards and other stuff in addition to DJing. And I think that's kind of where the future is going for DJs. Uh, that's personally my thoughts. I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Let me know the things you like about Serato Studio and things you hate about it. I'm definitely interested to hear, if you're gonna get it. Are you gonna pay the subscription? Where your head's at on this whole overall thing. I may get it based on where this goes when they get to the final and they move out of beta and get into the final version for release. I may pay for the subscription just to fool around. It's a very cool program. I like it. But because I have Ableton, I don't know how long I'm going to use this program. So that's just me personally. And do not think, well, I need to get Ableton or I need to use Cubase or whatever else, or Fruity Loops. Don't think you have to use these programs. Use what makes sense for you. That's a lot of use. But you know what I'm saying? Like, do what makes sense for you and your workflow and what you're comfortable with. Don't worry about what everybody else is using. Do what you want to do. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Is this brilliant from Serato? Is this garbage? Where is this whole thing going for them? And peace out, bitches.